Kylian Mbappé has finally said yes to PSG. After an endless soap opera, the Parisian striker, who was coming to the end of his contract at Parc des Princes, finally decided to sign a 3-year deal. As promised by those close to him, the 23-year-old world champion confirmed his intentions to stay in France for the foreseeable future. For several months, the young forward was heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. In fact, the 23-year-old had even admitted last year that he had made up his mind and wanted to move to the Santiago Bernabeu. Throughout the 2021 to 2022 campaign, it looked as if Mbappé was going to announce his decision to sign for the La Liga giants once his contract expired. But little did he know that both players' entourage and club president Nasser Al-Khelaifi were working in the background. PSG were desperate to hold on to their player of the season and finally convinced him that staying put would be the best course of action. For Real Madrid, this must be a bitter blow because the newly crowned Spanish champions have never really faced rejection from any player. Naturally, La Liga president Javier Tebas has been critical about the decision and has said certain things about the extension, and PSG's president that does seem borderline cynical. Regardless of all that, Mbappé will be playing for PSG next season and we can already feel a change in the air. As we already know, Mbappé will be at the heart of the new project in the French capital, but that was not only the reason why the forward decided to sign the dotted line. So here are a few reasons why the situation changed so much for Mbappé and Madrid. Reuniting with Campos. According to several reports, Paris Saint-Germain are all set to part ways with sporting director Leonardo. The former Brazil international has been blamed for several of the club's recent failures in the transfer window. Even during the recently concluded campaign, it was rumoured that Kylian Mbappé struggled to see sense in signing the likes of Sergio Ramos and Jorginho Wijnaldum. Both men struggled this season, and it appears that Leonardo has also lost a lot of his credibility in front of Nasser Al-Khelaifi. Moreover, the relationship with Kylian Mbappé has not been that great in recent months, with the two men not really seeing eye to eye. Therefore, PSG have moved forward to bring in Campos, who has done a wonderful job at AS Monaco. In fact, Mbappé has a great relationship with the Portuguese sporting director when the former was on the books of the club a few years ago. The arrival of Campos is likely to change how things are done at the Camp des Lodges. His arrival is going to see the transfer policy shift drastically. We expect PSG to stop playing over the odds for established performer with a transfer approach more in line with identifying young players, while they also get the best out of the academy players who have seemed to have no clear path to first team football. Crown jewel of Qatari ambitions. 3 years ago, Kylian Mbappé said that it was time for him to take on more responsibilities and be the driving force of a football project. Throughout his time at the Parc des Princes, Mbappé has witnessed a lot of changes in the dugout, and at the same time, he has seen his Champions League dreams turn into nightmares. The French giants' failure to win the competition was one of the reasons why their star man had started contemplating his future. Therefore, it did make sense for him to say yes to Real Madrid when the opportunity arrived. However, we have to give credit where it's due. PSG did not give up, even though most of the elements were against them. More than creating a financial package, Nasser Al-Khelaifi managed to convince Mbappé that he would be the reference point for the club for years to come. For a player who has raised his level of play to new heights, it made sense for him to crave the spotlight. And today, Mbappé has all of that in front of him. But it wasn't easy at the start. Last summer, when PSG signed Lionel Messi, the scenario seemed quite different. The Argentine's arrival seemingly overshadowed Mbappe's importance. But as the season wore on, it became clear that the ex-Barcelona man was going to be the answer to whatever PSG were seeking. Throughout the campaign, it was Mbappé who had the wherewithal to drag his team out of the woods. Whistled at the start of the campaign because of his desire to leave, Mbappé overturned opinion by being irreproachable. One eye on Qatar. In a few months, the entire focus would be on the World Cup in Qatar. After winning the competition as a teenager in 2018, Mbappé wants to repeat the feat this year. Leaving a secure surrounding just a few months before such an important competition would definitely be more than just an inconvenience. The World Cup starts in mid-November, which means that even if Mbappé had decided to go to Spain, he would have had only 3.5 months to adapt to Real Madrid. Now things in Spain, especially at Madrid, Madrid aren't easy. This is a club where every new signing is put under the microscope and their performances are scrutinised with impunity. Now imagine a scenario where Mbappé struggled in the early stages of his career in La Liga. Media criticism does bad things to players. We've all seen that before. These things could have impacted Mbappe's mindset heading into Qatar with Les Bleus. So you can say that the forward decided to commit to a club he already knew rather than swimming into uncharted waters for now. Creating a legacy. We know that Kylian Mbappé is ambitious, very ambitious in fact. And since his professional debut, the native of Bondy had the idea of making history, like his idol Cristiano Ronaldo. Mbappé has since made history at Paris, and the choice to extend at the Parc des Princes represents a form of continuity. What could be better to become the absolute legend of the capital club by helping PSG to their first Champions League trophy after the club's successive failures in the competition? If Mbappé were to lead Paris to European glory, he would become one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player, in the history of the club. Sorry Zlatan. The last time a team from France won the Champions League was almost 30 years ago. PSG have gotten close, and without Mbappé, they would struggle to end the cycle. While a lot of people on social media have criticised Mbappé and have even said that this was a move purely driven by the financial side of things, we beg to differ. While he must still harbour hopes of one day playing for Madrid, at the age of 23, the forward has time on his side. He has signed a 3-year deal, which means that by the time he enters free agency, he will be 26, which is normally when most players come into their own. And if by then PSG have not conquered Europe, then he will definitely consider moving on. For now though, Real Madrid can only watch from afar and look for another alternative in the upcoming summer transfer window.